Hey everybody, tonight we're debating creation versus evolution, and we're starting right now with Greg's opening statement. Thanks for being with us. The floor is all yours, Greg.
Hello, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So I am a bench scientist. I've been doing molecular biology for 17 years. So evolution is not just something that I read about, but it's something that I use in the lab in order to create better products, to create better organisms. And basically, evolution is the change of DNA over time in a population. So these changes, DNA is the heredity part of the organism that is passed on one to the other, and basically changes in that DNA accumulate and create different abilities for new proteins, new abilities to congregate into multicellular organisms, create new metabolic pathways, anything like that. But so we observe it in nature. It exists and we see it, but then it's also something that we understand enough that we actually use it as a tool. And this is what I think I'm going to be really focusing on in the debate, is that not only do we understand evolution, but we actually use it. So if evolution is not true, then there is something fundamental in these mechanisms that we don't understand, that maybe Kent could elucidate, and we could create big breakthroughs, because with new knowledge through scientific inquiry, we actually get technologies from that. So just going down the list of things that I wrote down that are ways that we use evolution in biology. Directed evolution got the Nobel Prize by Frances Arnold in 2018. It created new novel bonds that never existed before in nature, and she created these for pharmaceuticals and biofuel purposes. The annual flu vaccine only works because of evolution. We track the evolutionary path of these organisms, these viruses, and we track them in their populations, and we look to see where they're going in order to try to stymie evolution. The vaccines that we take basically are trying to stop evolution in its tracks inside of our system, and our immune system is evolved in order to try to stop that. Antibiotic resistance is another big thing. So MRSA, for example, only exists because of the antibiotic that we created, that we use, and it is a response to that it actually has that antibiotic resistance. CRISPR-Cas9. Again, CRISPR-Cas9 is a bacterial defense mechanism that it uses in order to change the DNA and go after pieces of DNA that it finds within the cell. So if evolution wasn't true, then you wouldn't be able to create the protein from a bacteria inside of eukaryotic cell. You wouldn't be able to have that knowledge going forward, and that evolutionary framework in order to have like nucleotides that are similar in different organisms that can be used and used as a tool. Mouse models that we use inside of our inside of research. So we have human cells that are in the single cell stages, but then we also have medicines that we test in the mouse models. And the only way that the mouse models work, and the only way that it actually makes any sense, and why it's so why it is used, is because of evolution. There is a lot to learn from these models through and about human metabolism. For GLP-1s, Ozempic, and all that kind of stuff, we understand better the metabolism that exists from Gila monsters from 1995 research into those mechanisms, and we create the knowledge about how that metabolic process works, create the GLP-1 agonists that are become into that technology, and then that's what we're using now. So again, if evolution is not true, then these technologies would not work. And if there was something fundamentally happening that we don't understand, then again, please let me know, and I will gladly take the Nobel Prize for it. Recombinant insulin. This is another one. Basically, diabetics are using human-made insulin that's inside of bacteria. So again, this is a human gene that's being expressed inside of bacteria. So this is a human-style insulin that is created within the bacteria. That bacteria creates that insulin, and then we use it and deliver it into humans again. So if it was not true, then it wouldn't make sense. And finally, I do want to say, I think that this is a bigger debate, and it's fundamentally changed the course of how this debate plays out is the context of it. Okay, the number one thing that I talk to and I debate anti-vaxxers with is that they bring up the fact that humans are somehow 900 years old at some time. That Kent is one of the biggest purveyors of this conspiracy that humans used to live until 950 years old, and people now are going against medical care. They're going against medical science. They're going against the medicines that we have created through evolution, and they are sourcing Kent's work on humans being 950 years old at one time, and they're not now. So therefore, humans aren't healthy now. So therefore, I'm not going to take a vaccine. And I think that, Kent, I don't think that you went on this crusade in order to do this. I don't think that was your main goal, but I think that people are taking your words seriously enough in order to forego medicine because of it. And I just want to invite you to say that you are not a medical expert, that you are not saying because you say that you have a theological argument, that you are not saying that people should listen to yourself as opposed to a physician, as opposed to medical science, as opposed to the research that says that vaccines and medical science are safe and effective. So I just want to give you that opportunity to kind of clear the air and try to say that you didn't have that. You're not trying to do that. So thank you.
Thank you very much for that opening. And we're going to kick it over to Kent Hovind for his opening as well. But first, we have a quick housekeeping note. Folks, if you haven't heard, DebateCon 8 Modern Day Debates flagship debate conference is happening July 25th and July 26th. Put it in your calendars in Dallas, Texas. As you can see at the bottom right of your screen, Andrew Wilson, Rachel Wilson, Destiny, you name it. It's going to be huge. I'm going to put that link for the tickets at the top of the chat. And it's also linked in the description box. DebateCon 8, you don't want to miss it. Grab your tickets now. We expect them to sell out. With that, we'll kick it over to Kent. Thank you very much for being with us. The floor is all yours.
Wow. Well, I'm glad to be here with you. And I'm honored. I didn't realize they thought I was the greatest conspiracy theorist against everything. No, I will not state that I think everybody should be forced to take a vaccine. I think it should be a personal decision. If somebody doesn't want them, nobody should be forced to take anything they don't want. Okay, the government should not be involved in this. If vaccines are safe, if vaccines protect you, go take one. How can anybody else possibly give you the disease? If you think you need them, go take all you want. But don't make me take them to keep you safe. Think about it. That's dumb. Okay? So no, I will not state that. I think everybody should have freedom to do what they want in the medical field. But you guys seem to want to use the government and the strong arm of the government to force everybody to do something because you think it's right, and they may not think it's right. So I think that is wrong at multiple levels. I will not state what you told me to state. But I didn't want to do this about vaccines tonight. Anyway, welcome. My name's Kent Hovind. I taught high school science and math 15 years. I'm not the world's expert on any of those, but I pretty well up to speed on the evolution creation debate. What you shared with us, Dr. Gray, was evidence of intelligent design. These creatures, these bacteria, are able to evolve, I'll use that word, within limits. There are limits to how far they can go. You studied them for 14 years or something and watched it happen. I bet you've observed that they have variations that can happen, but there's limits. Farmers that raise cows try to get bigger cows if they're raising for beef, or more milk if they're raising for milk, but they always run into a brick wall. There seems to be a limit. There's a limit on just about the variation within any kind of animal. They now have 450 breeds of cows, and they're still cow. Recognizable, that does not prove they're related to a mosquito. But you guys get these variations within the kind, and you see these bacteria able to, develop a new ability to do something, and say, wow, because of this, bacteria are related to elephants. That's what you guys teach. That is stupid. And even if it turns out later to be true, as of today, it is not part of science. So no, I'm not going to say that. Okay, this is what evolutionists never seem to get. I'm on all kinds of channels. They keep taking us off of YouTube, brother. I don't know why, because I'm the nicest guy I've ever met. But they keep taking us off. So we finally gave up. We put them on all other channels. Go to drdino.com. You can see all our channels. We have about 14 million views a month. Oh, I didn't realize I'm a fundamental. I got to go back and watch that conspiracy. People used to live to be 900, and because I'm against medical science, we don't live that long. No, there's a totally different reason why the people used to live to be 900. The Bible clearly teaches, I got too many charts here. The Bible clearly teaches there was a time before Noah's flood came that people lived to be over 900. And many ancient cultures, India, Pakistan, China, have legends of the Golden Age. Just Google Golden Age. This is not just to the Bible. Many dozens of ancient cultures say there used to be a time when man lived to be 1,000. Well, the Bible doesn't have anybody living to be 1,000, but it says the ones that are named anyway in the 900s. And that's because the Earth had a richer oxygen concentration. Today it's about 21%. Back then it was about 32 to 35%. That's what they find in amber bubbles, 32% to 35% oxygen. Well, that would be optimum for the human body to live under. And I think it was greater air pressure. I'm a strong believer in what's called the canopy theory. I think there was an ice canopy above the atmosphere that compressed the air down to probably double atmospheric pressure. Squeezed all the air that now goes out 50 miles down into maybe 10. I don't know. That crystal canopy would increase the air pressure, and it could be held up by the magnetic field of the Earth, since super cold ice is magnetic, or held up by the simple air pressure, like an inflatable building. You just pump up the building and it's inflated and stays up there. So I don't know. It's gone. I think it all fell down at the time of the flood. And the reason the lifespans dropped off is not because they weren't taking vaccines. Okay. The lifespans dropped off because then they have less oxygen now, less air pressure. It affected everything. That flood totally rearranged everything on the planet. And all the strata that we see, the so-called geologic column, all formed in 1 year at Noah's flood. I cannot understand how people cannot see the obvious stupidity of claiming the layers are different ages. If the top layer is younger, where did it come from? Where was it hanging out for 14.7 million years waiting to land? This dirt is the same age as this dirt. It can't be any otherwise. But this stupid geologic column really started the problem back in the 1830s when they made up the idea that the layers are different ages and the Earth's gone through all these stages. So I take the position the Bible is literally true, scientifically accurate. But listen, I am not demanding that my belief in the Bible be taught in the public schools at taxpayer expense. I'm not demanding that the government get involved in medical, telling everybody what they ought to do with their body and vaccines and vitamins and all. That's wrong. If you want total government control, go to North Korea. This country was founded by a bunch of men who said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. They're endowed by their creator with certain rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Go back and read it. So no, I'm not going to say that I think, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm getting to be pretty old and still in pretty good shape. Okay, I take a lot of vitamins, and I don't take any vaccines. I don't take any drugs. If I break something, I'll go to the doctor, broken bone. Yeah, I'm not against medical profession, but I think they've gotten way out of their, what they should be doing. Okay, maybe it's a financial incentive for, give these vaccines for $50 or whatever they cost. I don't know. I don't take any. So now, if you think it should be right for the government to force me to take some, then you got your head screwed on backwards. Okay. The government should not be involved. It's a person. If they're safe, take them, and you're safe. Anybody who wants to be safe, take them. If you want to wear a bulletproof vest all day long, go ahead. Okay. And I think the whole concept you have. I see you're from Bernie behind you there. Maybe that explains a few things. But the antibiotic resistance that has developed is because variations can happen within the bacteria, and they can modify a little bit, but they're still limited. There's still a bacteria. So this goes back to, I think, the fundamental problem is the meaning of the word evolution. This is where they try to say, evolution is true. Here's the problem, I think, very clearly. There are 6 different meanings or levels or stages to this theory of evolution. First would have to be cosmic evolution. Where did time, space, matter come from? They don't want to talk about that. They claim it's a Big Bang, which is really ridiculous. What exploded? Where did the energy come from? Where did the matter come from? Where did time come from? Where did space come from? They purposely avoid all of that. They want to jump right to number 5 and 6. Secondly, there would have to be chemical evolution. This Big Bang produced hydrogen, they say, and maybe some helium and lithium. Okay. How do you get platinum, uranium, silver, gold from hydrogen gas? I'd like to know how to do that. Okay. Then you have to have stars and planets evolving. That's never been observed. Nobody's ever seen a star or planet form. Never. They have this theory that a bunch of dust clouds, think about it, the Big Bang made everything scatter out faster than the speed of light. And somehow out there, even though they're going out at radial directions like spokes on a wheel, they somehow have enough gravity to get back together out there. I tell you what, blow up a hand grenade and tell me, do the fragments ever go out in the field and come back together because of their attraction to each other? No, they get further apart. So I taught physics for years. The Big Bang theory is dumb at multiple levels, from the physical science for sure. But nobody's ever seen a planet form. How could it? How could the dust clouds form out there from an explosion from a Big Bang? They don't want to answer that one or even talk about that one. I'd like to see, get one for your show, modern day debate. Get somebody willing to defend the Big Bang, okay? Then you have to have organic evolution. Dr. Gregg, if you deal with this stuff, how did life get started? How did the first life get started? I don't want a theory. I'd like to see it. If it can happen wildly in nature, surely you smart guys in the laboratory can do it. But if it does take a bunch of intelligent scientists working for thousands or billions of dollars to do it, to create life, that would prove it takes intelligence to make life. All you'd be doing is proving creation. You wouldn't be proving evolution, but I'd like to see you guys, why can't they make life in the laboratory? If it can happen in a warm little pond someplace, and you believe it did, well, that's SpongeBob science. Imagine. That's not science. Then you have to have what's called macroevolution, where an animal changes to a different kind of animal. Nobody's ever seen that. These bacteria you've worked with for 14 years, I'd bet you $5 they are still bacteria. Aren't they? Yeah. So you're not seeing evolution. You're seeing a variation of the same kind of creature, of living creature. It's already alive. It's already a bacteria. It's already able to reproduce. It's already able to ingest, digest, and excrete materials. It's already ready. It's already able to respond to its environment. And you're seeing variations in this thing. It's still a bacteria. That doesn't prove bacteria can slowly evolve to a whale. This is what the public school kids are being taught. This is not only stupid, I think it's criminal to lie to kids like that and say, we saw these bacteria have variations. They learned to digest nylon. Oh, that proves we're related to a whale. Talk about a jump in logic. So no, I take the stand, there is no evidence for evolution beyond variations within the already existing kind. I forget how many, I think there's 5 varieties of giraffes. They probably had a common ancestor called a giraffe. Okay? There's 167 varieties of ducks, and I bet they had a common ancestor called a duck. But you guys want to force everybody to learn, at taxpayer expense, to learn that the duck is related to the cactus. There they are, duck, cactus. Do you think this should be taught in public schools at taxpayer expense? I promise you did if you voted for Bernie. Now, lastly, there'd have to be microevolution. That's a variation within the same kind. That happens, and that's all you've ever observed in 14 years. You've never observed a bacteria produce a non-bacteria, have you? Over to you.
Thank you very much for that opening as well. Quick housekeeping notes. Folks, first, we're going to have a Q&A following this open dialogue, so if you have questions, feel free to submit them either by tagging me in the live chat with @ModernDayDebate. Otherwise, the super chat pushes your question to the top of the list. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button. We do appreciate your support. And we have many more debates coming up, so if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. With that, gentlemen, the floor is all yours for open dialogue.
Okay, so you have a kid that is in the hospital right now. Their brain is swelling to the point that they are having brain damage because their mother did not vaccinate them. And they ask you, Kent, they say, how did Adam and Eve live to 900, and how can my kid live to 900? What are you going to say? How are you going to translate what your knowledge is into a technology in order to help this person that is in the hospital right now?
Well, yes, if you're trying to change this debate to be, should I become a medical doctor? No, I think I trust. I've many friends that are medical doctors. that I contact, and I have questions. I also have friends that are nutrition experts. Why the kid's in the hospital with his brain swelling up? Could it be a traumatic injury? Could it be a bacteria causing some trouble?
Measles is caused by a virus.
Okay. Should the government require everybody in our country to take a vaccine because of that one kid? It ought to be voluntary, that's all. See, Bernie and those guys are socialists / communists. The government should run everything, control everything. That's apparently your philosophy. Do you think everybody should be forced to take vaccines?
Yes.
Okay. Then you need to go to a different country where they force people to do things.
No,
I don't want that in my country.
You don't even understand the history of the United
die.
States. George Washington, literally, part of the reason that we won the Revolutionary War is because he gave the smallpox vaccine to his troops. So actually, the first public health campaign was actually a vaccine campaign by George Washington. So George Washington is literally on my side on this one. So you are again on your own here, and I keep bringing this up because vaccines as an application of evolution. If evolution is not real, then vaccines are not needed because humans don't need to actually compete against viruses. But the reality is that we do, and viruses cause disease, viruses cause people to die, and people are now foregoing medical care because they are listening to people like you and these conspiracies that humans used to live until 950 years old. So now they're foregoing medical care. That people are listening to you and distilling your knowledge and going in that direction. So I'm glad that you agree with me that you're not a medical expert, that you do not know how human physiology works, that you do not know how
I didn't say that.
You're saying you are a medical expert now.
I did not stop that. I did not say I'm a medical expert, but I have a big understanding of physiology and anatomy and biology. I taught those for 15 years. This has nothing to do with me being a medical doctor. Let me finish your statement, though. You're claiming we won this war because George Washington, hang on, George Washington vaccinated his troops. Okay. Are you aware that at the time George Washington was living, all the doctors believed in the doctrine of humors. They took George Washington's blood out, part of him, because he was sick. He got worse. They took out more blood. He got worse. They took out more blood, and he died. Do you think we should make it mandatory that doctors believe the doctrine of humors, and if you're sick, take out your blood?
That's not modern medical science. That's not modern medical science. So we're not going to go.
I got to jump in at some point, gentlemen, just because I'm totally open to hosting a debate on vaccines, but I still haven't kind of looked into like how much YouTube gives flexibility on that. So though we've covered them a bit, and I wanted to allow that because they are in the same ballpark, I still want to kind of direct us more creation evolution in the more traditional sense.
James, this is an application of this debate. So this is literally how we are using the knowledge that we have gained through evolution, and we are applying it through this technology. So like we could say preventative medical procedures, if you're more okay with that. But no, I'm not going to allow him to use the same slide depth that he's used for the last 30 years and just rehash the same nonsense when we have an actual problem that we have in the country right now in regards to medical disinformation, in regards to science misinformation, and people using the conspiracies that he pushes in order to actually harm people. So no, I'm not going to stop talking about it.
Okay. And I'm not going to stop talking about it either. I disagree.
Okay, gentlemen, the only concern I have here is we could host a debate on the very things that you mentioned right there, Greg.
We're doing it right now.
Right, but I think that people are confused that it's kind of called creation versus evolution for the title. And the other thing is I do want to look more into, if I would have known that this is kind of where you were wanting to take it, I could have looked more into like, are there things you have to be careful about, where I could give you guys like a short list of like, we can talk about this topic, but just be careful about saying this or that. That's why I'm a little bit, what's the word?
Yeah, you should be. This is why they take channels down. YouTube takes channels down. You're not allowed to mention anything.
It's nonsense. I've been talking about this same stuff for 6 years. You're trying to deflect and you're trying to run, Kent. This is insane.
I'm not trying to run at all. I'm not the least bit scared of you. Now listen, you believe you came from a rock. Okay.
No, I don't. Again,
yeah,
you
do.
You're saying
and you believe you're related to a tomato, don't you?
No.
Okay.
I'm 50% related to a banana. Yeah, our DNA, and you are too. Yeah, that's how.
Oh, I'm related to a banana.
Works.
You speak for your own relatives, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not related to a banana. Now listen.
Yes, you are. All humans are.
I was not informed at all that this was going to go down into the debate about vaccines. I thought it was creation versus evolution.
Yeah, we're talking about the application of evolution as a technology. Yeah,
well,
so I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to talk
right.
about the medical gene therapies that we can do. We're going to talk about vaccines. We're going to be talking about like all that kind of like the fact that we can actually do things and improve people's lives through the knowledge that we gain through evolution. Why should I stop talking about that? Why should I be skittish so that we can talk about Archaeopteryx for the 50th time? Nobody cares about your printouts of things anymore. People want answers, Kent. People want how are you going to improve people's lives if you understand something that medical science or that science doesn't understand?
Would you shut him up? Shut his mic off.
Actually talk
shut
about
his
this
mic
and
off
actually
and let's talk about one topic at a
time.
time. One topic at a time. He's showing that he's a communist. He's a communist. He thinks everybody should be forced to do something because somebody says it's better for them.
Hold on one sec. I hate to interrupt, but I do have to say, gentlemen, we do have to get this back on track. So I do want to redirect this back to creation evolution. Like Greg, if you want, I'm like assuming that if I can look into it and see that YouTube is safe, where we know what we can say. So, but the idea here, Greg, is I wish you would have told me in the email, like, I kind of want this to be more of a debate on Kent's vaccine positions. It is going in that direction to a point where it's just not returning. Like I've tried to give grace and flexibility where we've covered that some, but in terms of tying it back to creation versus evolution, that's what I'm asking for. So
I'd like to finish one topic that he started. Okay. He thinks that people are listening to me, and they are. It's totally voluntary. Nobody has to listen to me. Okay.
Hold on one.
They're listening to me.
Greg,
shut up. They're listening to me.
Muted.
And they want me. Shut him off. It's my turn to
talk.
Moderator.
That's not Greg. That's not Greg. It's me. Is it? Greg was.
Shut his mic.
Just relax. Give me 1 second. Is Greg? Just want to be sure that you knew that people weren't hearing you. You were still on mute.
Go ahead.
I want to give Kent a chance, and then we'll come back to you, Kent. Or Greg.
Shut me off when it's his turn to talk. Shut him off when it's my turn to talk. I will not continue this debate unless you do that. Okay. I don't like him stepping on my tongue. Okay. Now, if he wants to make vaccines mandatory, he's welcome to preach that. But see, this is the communist philosophy. Government needs to decide. If he thinks they're good for you, great, go take them all. But I don't want to get into that topic. If you see, he could say, well, if you don't take them, it's bad. The kids are going to die. Some kids in the hospital with a brain tumor. You should see the dangers of evolution. He wants everybody to believe they came from a banana or came from a rock and a bacteria. We're all related, and there's no God controlling this universe. You should see the damage the evolution theory has done. This is exactly what motivated Adolf Hitler, Joe Stalin, Pol Pot in Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge. The Japanese, they started the war. They murdered 17 million Chinese because they thought they hadn't evolved as far. It was evolution, his theory, that he believes, that he thinks should be pushed, that it caused damage all over the world. That's a lot worse than a kid in the hospital with a brain tumor. So no, if you want to talk about the dangers of what I believe and the dangers of what you believe, we can have that debate. I'll be glad to. Okay, but no, I'd like to see what's the evidence for evolution. You guys claim I keep using this same chart. I keep using these same tactics, these same charts because it's true. You know, when I was a kid, I learned 2 + 2 is 4. That has not changed, and it's true that there are variations within the kinds, but there are no examples of going beyond the same kind. None. Did your bacteria ever become a non-bacteria?
We'll kick it over to Greg. And I'll do the same thing in terms of just ask you to unmute. So there should be a window that pops up, Greg, that'll say, do you if you want to unmute?
Yeah, I've been watching Kent's debates for 15 years, and I've never seen him crash out. So this is amazing. It's a really good opportunity. Sorry, Kent, that you're actually mad about someone actually holding your feet to the fire, about people actually interpreting the words that you say and then making a decision off of them. And obviously, you aren't prepared to defend your ideology and your conspiracies because there are nothing to hold, actually point to. You have no studies, you have no actual scientific evidence for anything that you're claiming. So it's a conspiracy. That is what it is. I'm going to invite you, please tell me one technology or one way that you have created from this knowledge that you have, this secret knowledge that only you and this other person has. One technology one medical breakthrough, something that has come from your ideology and in creationism. Please enlighten us.
Give you same thing, 90
We got-
seconds.
Again,
Kent.
we got 3 topics on the table again. He does this all the time. I'd like one topic at a time, okay? I don't have any conspiracies. I believe the Bible is literally true. I'm not ashamed of that at all. I think it's true. Okay, if you think you're related to it, came from a bacteria, and you're related to a potato, then you should be proud of it. Stop eating your ancestors or cousins, okay? But as far as, I don't have any secret knowledge. This book's been out for a long time, okay? Probably the best-selling book in the world. No book beats this one, and I think it's not secret knowledge about it. As far as one good thing that's happened, well, for example, the Bible says we're supposed to eat the fruit, vegetables, and seeds, all right? 1 million sailors in the British Army died of scurvy. Just Google scurvy and the scourge it was in the health of people, because they were traveling out at sea for months and they couldn't get vitamin C. So they started taking limes on board, and they called them the limeys for years because they had barrels of limes, and they stopped dying of scurvy. They could have read their Bible and said, we need fruit, vegetables, and seeds. Wow, these guys aren't getting enough fruit. They could have solved that. But no, you guys would spend $10 trillion of other people's money searching in the laboratory, what's causing this disease? It's a lack of something, not what's causing it. There's a lack of vitamin C. It's like running your car out of gas, so you rebuild the motor. This is dumb. So if you wish, but you wish to force this on everybody, that's where it's dangerous. And your religion of evolution is the most dangerous religion in the world. That has killed way more people than vaccines.
Yeah, again, more conspiracy. It's so funny that you use that as an example, considering that humans actually don't create our own vitamin C through evolution. It's a pseudogene. Mutations have accrued inside of the vitamin C producing gene inside of our genome. So that is why we actually ate so much fruit with vitamin C that we turned off our internal production of it. So we were eating more fruits and veg before the Bible even existed, so much so that we actually evolved to not make vitamin C. So again, no technology, no breakthroughs, no knowledge that Kent has about how things are actually working inside the lab, or actually if things that are evolving, what is actually happening. So I mean, Kent, what is happening inside of a viral population as it accrues DNA changes if it's not evolving? What is actually happening there? Please let us know.
All right, Kent, I just asked you on mute.
Okay. All of the changes we've ever observed in any population, be it microscopic or macroscopic, any changes have been a loss of information or a variation of something that was already there. Now, you said there's been no studies done to support my claim. Let me explain it to you in small words, so maybe you'll get it. The Bible says 20 times in the first 7 chapters, the animals and plants will reproduce after their kind. Every farmer in the history of the world, not working in a laboratory with a lab coat, working with their hands and mud on their boots, they've observed cows produce cows and dogs produce dogs and cats produce cats, and there's variations, but there's never a change to a new kind. Talk about a laboratory. It's worldwide, and it's through all history. Every farmer in the history of a planet Earth has observed cows produce cows, and when they try to get a bigger cow, they reach a limit. Take dogs as an example. They've been trying to get bigger dogs, smaller dogs, and now have the teacup Chihuahua. You think they'll ever get a dog as small as a bacteria? I bet there's a limit somewhere. There's a big dog like the Great Dane. You think they'll ever get a dog as big as an elephant? There are animals like as big as an elephant, like an elephant. So there are limits. You will not even understand it, let alone see it. There are limits to the variations, and they're already in the gene code. They're already there. God made humans so one couple can have 10 kids, and all the kids can be slightly different. Some can have red hair, brown hair, blonde hair. They're still human. That's not evolution. That's why I go back to my chart. Joseph put that up. All we've ever observed is microevolution, variations within the same kind. And I forgot to write down, you talked to many things. You said you see me crash out. I'm not crashed out. I'm happy. I'm really joyful, okay? I just hate to see your stupid religion forced on everybody in the public schools. And you want everybody to be vaccinated, and it's stupid. Real stupid. Go ahead.
We're going to switch it.
Okay, so what is limiting microevolution into macroevolution? Again, there is no such thing as micro versus macroevolution. There is nothing about that. That's a complete Christian apologetics thing that you've completely made up. That doesn't actually exist. Evolution is a single process that's like saying that I can't walk across the room I know, saying like I can walk across the room, but I can't walk across a city or a town. It's the same process. There is no limitation. So please, since you understand biology greater than any other biologist, please let us know what is limiting within this biological organism that you are talking about, and please elucidate. Tell us what's happening.
Okay. Thank you. This is good. Much better. Am I unmuted now?
Yep.
First of all, Mr. Gregg, I don't need to understand what's limiting it. I think we could say all of human observation says it is limited. So what's causing it, that's not the question. Nobody has ever seen it. See, maybe you don't understand. Science is what we can observe, study, test, demonstrate. We observe cows producing cows. We do not observe them going any farther than that. That's why we have to distinguish, put my slide back up, Joseph. We have to distinguish what we've observed for all of history is variations within the same kind. But you wish to imagine that it goes beyond that to macroevolution. You believe, I suspect, that cows are related to sunflowers.
Mm-hmm.
They got them on the chart, all connected with lines. Do you believe students should be required to learn that cows and sunflowers have a common ancestor? Should that be required knowledge that every taxpayer has to pay for? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's the reality. That's through biology. That's how we understand it. I mean, we pay for your nonsense too. We pay through it by your stuff not being taxed. So that we pay a societal tax for you to spread misinformation and for you to spread conspiracies that harm people.
Oh, I don't have any conspiracies that harm people. Nobody has to listen to me. People have to listen to your religion being taught. It's crammed down their throat from kindergarten on. That's forced on them. Talk about forcing vaccines. They're forcing stupidity on kids, teaching them they're related to a banana, and you came from a rock, which came from a dot of nothing exploding, rapidly
Didn't
expanding.
say we came from a rock. Again, just nonsense. Again, you're not even explaining evolution because you don't understand evolution. You don't understand how evolution actually works. I've never seen like a proper explanation of evolution by you this entire time. So again, it's just it's more science misinformation that harms people. People are listening to you and they're not taking medical advice from professionals, and people are dying now in the United States right now. We have epidemics, outbreaks of measles, tuberculosis, whooping cough, all this stuff coming on. Then you should condemn it. Then you should condemn people like not taking vaccines based off of nonsense of thinking that humans are 900 years old. I mean, that should be so easy for you. You should say, this is just a theological argument that I have an understanding of. This is what happened in but this is not a medical argument. This is not what I'm trying to say or push on people. It would be so easy for you just to say that, but you refuse to.
It'd be just as easy for you to say, we've never seen evolution, but we think it happened.
We do.
Okay, it's a religion. All you've seen is your bacteria change to a different kind of bacteria. That's all dog breeders see. Dogs produce dogs. Some have long hair, short hair, long legs, short legs, long tail, curly tail. Always dogs, though, always. That is science. Science is what we can observe, study, test, demonstrate. What you're doing in your laboratory is religion. You're looking to defend your faith that bacteria can produce a whale if you give them enough time. And you said clearly a minute ago, you don't believe we came from a rock. Watch this. Earth formed 4.56 billion years ago, 4.5. It was a uniform ball of hot rock. At first, Earth was a ball of hot rock. Earth started off as a hot ball of rock. Earth started off, let's see, a hot viscous ball of rock. Why don't you call National Pornographic and get them to take that out then if you don't believe it? That's a peer-reviewed journal saying, look, you came from a rock. Yes, you do believe you came from a rock. Now stop hiding.
No.
Don't be embarrassed about it. I know. We
No,
didn't
it's
come
just
straight from a
Again,
rock. You do.
Again, no. So it's so funny to me that they're so mad about me like bringing up people, the direct application of people using your knowledge and what you spewed for decades on this earth, but then the slight and yet how are you bringing geology into this? How are you bringing Big Bang into an evolution like discussion? It's just, again, you're just misconstruing and you're just slapping evolution on everything, and it's just nothing but conspiracy nonsense.
James, I'm baffled that this has gone 40 different directions. No, I'll take my ground very simply. I believe the Bible is literally true. God created the world. He did it in 6 days, about 6,000 years ago. I don't demand that be taught to all the kids. I think it is true, and I'm going to teach it to everybody I can. But see, mine's all voluntary. Do you work in a laboratory that is government funded in any way? Does the taxpayers have to pay for your salary in some way or pay for your institution?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you want to continue that, don't you? You think everybody should be forced?
I mean, a lot of our funding's been cut because of Trump. So there you go. There you got your wish. There you go. Yeah,
Good.
I mean,
shut it down.
Yeah, exactly. Because cancer research, that's the why we're trying to get cancer research shut down now. I mean, it's just nonsense. Again, and by the way, cancer research and cancer gene therapy is existent because of evolution, because cancer cells try to out-evolve the immune system that we have, and we, through gene therapy techniques, try to stop the evolution of cancer evolving inside your body. So again, everything is related in biology to evolution. And the fact that you think that you know better than the entire field of biology, and yet you have no capability of creating any new technologies, any type of knowledge from that, just shows that you're dabbling in conspiracy, snake oil salesman nonsense, and you're harming people on top of that.
You might not know this. I started World War I too. That's my fault.
Yeah, you can play it off, but guess what? This is actually happening, and this is actually harming people. Public health is actually being impacted. I mean, you can hand wave it, but I actually love thy neighbor. I actually care about public health. I actually care about people. Where's your Christianity? Where is your Christianity?
Oh, I use it every day. I use it.
No,
We're going off another rabbit trail. Another rabbit trail. I'm still asking the question. Have you ever seen in your research of 14 years watching bacteria swim around, have you ever seen a bacteria produce what anybody would call a non-bacteria? It's just a yes or no. Have you ever seen that?
No, I mean, not directly, but we have absolutely new metabolism. That's how it works. There is no mechanism. There is no limitation biologically or mechanistically to stop evolution from happening. I mean, we're talking. We have fossils 3.8 billion years ago of cyanobacteria, and then we have basically eukaryotic organisms that evolved about 700 million years. So we're talking about 3 billion years of evolution for a bacteria that goes, that can replicate every hour. So yeah, there's a lot of generations that can happen. And we have seen citrate metabolism evolve in long-term evolution experiments. So that is a new way and a new ability in order to actually use new substrates.
One topic at a time. You just said a minute ago, they found bacteria, 3.8 billion years old. And they're still having bacteria today in the laboratory. You've never seen.
It's efficient. It's good.
James, shut him off when it's my turn, would you? Okay.
I'll give you a full. You
have never seen in your laboratory in 14 years of watching bacteria swim around at taxpayer expense. Okay. You have never seen a bacteria produce a non-bacteria, but you say it takes more time. But 3.3 billion years ago, they were still bacteria. Has anybody else ever seen a bacteria ever produce a non-bacteria? There's a lot of people using taxpayer dollars to watch these things swim around. Show me where anybody can show. God said they bring forth after their kind. Bacteria always produce bacteria. That is not legitimate reason to connect them on a line and say bacteria evolved into a whale. But you want that to be mandatory teaching, don't you? Go ahead.
Pardon my delay. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, we should have it mandatory thinking, because that's how, as scientists, we create knowledge and technologies that run the entire economy. And we create trillions of dollars of value through our expertise and the patents and the companies that are created from the knowledge that we create. So there is a huge impetus for the government to fund scientific research. So I'm sorry. And honestly, guess what? If you had any way to elucidate any of these mechanisms, I'm asking you right now, I would plan the experiment with you for the next hour and a half, and we could go 50-50 on the patent, and we could split the Nobel Prize. But the problem is that you don't have an understanding of how to actually create new knowledge, because all you're doing is reading a conspiracy pamphlet, and you have no new knowledge that you are actually creating.
Well, again, one topic at a time. You have never seen a bacteria produce a non-bacteria. Nobody has ever seen a bacteria produce a non-bacteria. Let's make it simpler. There are now 500 varieties of chickens. We got about 20 in our science center here. We teach about chickens, or we teach about all kinds of fun stuff at Dinosaur Adventureland. You should come see our science center where we teach real science, okay? But there's 500 kinds of chickens. Nobody's ever seen a chicken produce a non-chicken. Never. Is there any, I don't want to hear a theory about if we had billions of years, has anybody ever observed a bacteria produce something that anybody would call a non-bacteria? Has anybody ever observed, has any farmer in the history of the planet ever seen a cow produce a non-cow, a chicken produce a non-chicken? Where's the evidence for your religion? You want to believe they're all related? Go for it. But teach that in a private school where people want to pay and come learn it. And if people want to pay and go get a vaccine, let them. And tell you what, if you really believe it should be mandatory and you think it should be forced on everybody, I will pay for you to move to North Korea. That's what they do over there. Take me up on it, please.
Okay, since you're such an expert on microevolution, like, please let's elucidate it. How do you stop a outbreak of a virus that's happening right now? How would you do it? If you have this microevolution expert knowledge that you have somehow created a thought tunnel with a divine creator that knows this better than any scientist, let's just talk about microevolution, since that is you can only talk about one word at a time. So let's talk about microevolution. How do you stop evolution happening within a viral population? What would you recommend?
If I saw a virus that was killing millions of people, spreading across the nation, I would look at all kinds of different things. This is like a diamond, has a properly cut diamond, has 57 facets, 57 ways to look at this thing. I would look and see, have we been spraying stuff in the sky, chemtrails, that's causing this problem on Earth 20 years later? I would look at, maybe they've been putting stuff in our food that's causing this. Dude. Shut up. It's my turn to talk, okay? Shut him off. I would look, you're not even willing to look at that. Oh, the government's never going to do anything wrong. I would look at the evolution theory, which I would go through in my video number 1. The population of the Earth today is about 8 billion people. But there have been many people who voted for Bernie Sanders are saying, we need to reduce the world's population because humans are causing the problem. Satan was told in the Garden of Eden, someday some seed of the woman's going to bruise his head. And he's been trying for 6,000 years now to kill every human being. When Herod wanted to kill baby Jesus, he killed all the babies. And there are people with your philosophy who say, it's okay to kill people, as many as we can. Kill them before they're born if you want. Kill them if they're sick. Euthanasia. Kill them. Maybe I would be willing to at least look at it. You're not willing to look at it. Maybe this is intentional. Maybe somebody's doing this. Maybe somebody's spreading something in the water, like forcing fluoride on everybody. I don't know, but I'd be willing to look at it. You're not willing to look at it. Your only solution to the problem is more government funding for more research, like to find a way to destroy some bacteria so it can't swim anymore. So you're not willing to even look at the other obvious. Maybe it's a dietary thing. The British Navy lost 1 million sailors, died of scurvy, because they were busy looking for what's the germ, what's the virus, whatever they called it back then, what's causing this. It wasn't something causing it. It's a lack of vitamin C. If you ran out of gas, you'd rebuild your engine rather than check the gas tank. Go ahead.
And we'll switch it over to Greg.
Again, not a single understanding or any type of mechanistic understanding of what a virus is, right? No understanding of how to like molecular biology wise, like actually attack a virus, what a virus is actually doing. And he in that answer, he had no technological advancements or anything else. He's relying on other scientific, cherry picking scientific advancements and trying to just mad lib these things into a sentence so it makes any sense. Like, seriously, your whole thing on how to help a mom prevent her kid from having being protected during a viral outbreak is to look at chemtrails and to look at lab leak stuff. I mean, it's just fantastical. I mean, the conspiracies are so layered one on top of one another. It's fantastical, man. It just goes to show that you have no actual understanding of what's going on here.
Well, I'm glad you know everything I think and teach. Okay. Do you believe?
I'm listening to you right now. I'm responding to what you're saying.
Oh, I'm listening to you, and you ought to go to North Korea. You'd love it over there. The government makes everybody do everything they want. Okay. I'll pay your way. I really will. Okay. I'll take up an offering. We'll get you over there. Now, I think all I said was we should be willing to look at all the options. When they give like a COVID vaccine or something like that, and thousands of people die recently after that, I'd be willing to look at maybe there's something wrong with this, okay? How many people have died from vaccines? I'm not the expert on vaccines, but a lot of people have do research on that and say, look, we're killing people with this. We're not helping them, we're killing them. So look at the mad cow disease. This goes into a whole new field, okay? I don't want to go down that rabbit trail. I thought it was a debate on creation evolution. My point stands. Nobody's ever seen a bacteria produce a non-bacteria. You're the world's expert on bacteria. You watch them swim around, dive off the board, and all that kind of stuff. Has anybody ever seen a bacteria produce a non-bacteria? You haven't seen it. Nobody's ever seen it. The ones they found 3 million years ago were still bacteria, 3.8 billion years ago. There's no bacteria. There isn't this change that you believe happened. We don't see bacteria becoming whales in trillions of steps. You believe it, though, and you're going to divert it to a new topic right now. Go ahead, your turn.
Kick it over to Greg. Go ahead, Greg.
No, let's talk about bacterial evolution. That you're such an expert on it again.
Please.
So the bacteria causes disease too. MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. How do you stop MRSA from spreading? How do you stop the evolution of MRSA that's happening right now, Karen? Give us your mechanism of how you understand it, since you are such an expert on microevolution, which doesn't exist, but this is all you can talk about. You can only talk about this small little thing. So let's dive in. I'm in with you. I'm in this pseudoscience microevolution BS that you're peddling, and I'm asking about your own claim about microevolution. And you are not able to substantiate or understand or say or talk about it without bringing up even more conspiracies and pushing even more pseudoscience.
Okay. By the way, James, I am slightly animated because I love doing this kind of stuff. I feel like Muhammad Ali in the ring, okay, or Mike Tyson.
You're crashing out,
this guy out. Okay?
You're crashing out. You're running afraid.
No, I'm not the least bit afraid. Let's do that. Let's do a debate every night with you. Okay, call in every night, one topic at a time. Every night. I'm not the least bit afraid of you. Okay, let me finish now. So I stand my ground. If you want me to, how would a virus breaking out or something going across the population, killing people? I'd be willing to look at something more than you're willing to look at. I'd be willing to look at our food. Maybe something's in our food. Maybe something's missing in our food. Back when they invented, when they found out that when they baked bread, it would go bad. After a couple of days, it would go bad. They said, what's making the bread go bad? So they started taking out of the wheat vitamin E and lecithin and omega-3 fatty acids. And the bread started lasting much longer, and heart attacks began to rise. Maybe there's a connection. The Bible says that we're supposed to have daily bread. The Bible says in Psalms, bread strengthens a man's heart. Heart problems went crazy when they modified the bread to make it last longer. Maybe there's a connection. Maybe not, but maybe there is. You will not even be willing to look at it. You'd rather spend government money to make everybody get a vaccine so they don't get a heart attack. I'd be willing to look at, maybe we should look at vitamins, lack of vitamins causing this. I don't know. I'm not the world's expert on it, but I think we should look at it. You're not even willing to look, are you? Go ahead.
We'll kick it over to Greg.
The only reason that you even know about vitamins is because of science and because the scientific method has elucidated what vitamins and proteins and enzymes are. You have no understanding of it with your creationism, pseudoscience nonsense, and you're trying to, again, cherry pick this mad lib ideology, and you're not able to actually, all you said is that all I understand is microbial evolution, all I understand is antibiotic resistance, and I am literally sitting here in your space, in your microbial evolution space, and you are not able to understand anything about how antibiotics works, how vaccines work against these microbial hosts. You're not able to understand or actually give any knowledge about it. You're daisy chaining these conspiracies together as if that it actually means anything or if it creates any type of knowledge. Again, you have no knowledge of the thing that you are talking about that has that is actually happening. You're saying it's only microevolution, and I'm like, let's talk about microevolution, and you're like, let's talk about bread, let's talk about vitamins, let's bro, what do you can you just actually engage with anything that you're actually talking about and talk at an expert level about anything?
No, I'm really stupid. I'm the dumbest guy on the planet. I can't talk about it. Boy, and then when I swear, look at that squirrel. Look at it. No. I'll debate you anytime, every day, one topic at a time.
You won't.
Okay? I will. I'm offering. Will you do it? Will you debate me tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. James, set it up. Okay.
Yeah,
and the topic will be, whereas observed change in bacteria led to anything non-bacteria. Whereas anybody observed this? I've pointed out nobody's ever observed cows produce non-cows. Nobody's ever observed cats produce non-cats or dogs produce non-dogs. Nobody in the history of the world. Talk about a laboratory, trillions of examples, maybe not trillions, billions of examples of dogs producing dogs. Where is the logical justification for having a chart with a dog connected to a petunia? What is the justification for you believing all students should be forced to learn dogs and petunias have a common ancestor? Why on earth would somebody be forced all the kids to learn something so dumb? Why?
We'll go. Sorry about that, Greg. But if you haven't yet, folks, hit that like button and then. Oh, Greg, you're ready. Go ahead.
Again, I'm just asking, please explain microbial evolution. If that's all you understand about evolution, let's talk about microbial evolution. Explain to me the process of how antibiotic resistance evolves within a bacterial population.
Okay.
Go ahead.
One bacteria, the DNA code in one bacteria is more complex than the space shuttle. One bacteria, the DNA code is mind-boggling in its complexity.
Nope.
That DNA code is able to produce a variety of baby bacteria that have, some have blonde hair, blue hair, green hair, whatever, okay? But they're still
bacteria. Blue hair bacteria?
Oh, it's a joke. Shut up. Shut his mic off, will you?
Jeez, all right, we'll give you...
James, find somebody intelligent for the debate next time, please. Okay, but listen, we observe varieties of bacteria. Sometimes they're able to do something new because they lost information. Sometimes there's never a gain of information. You can't show me one example where a bacteria has gained any information, new information. It's a recombination of sometimes misspelling words. Okay, but baby bacteria are produced by the mommy, or sometimes whether it's what type of reproduction it is. But I don't know. I forgot which one bacteria you use. But I think there's both kinds in those. Who cares? So bacteria have always produced bacteria. You've watched them for 14 years and never seen it otherwise than that. But you believe that's evidence that whales are related to strawberries, and we came from a bacteria. And that's where you don't see it, that you're dreaming. You live in SpongeBob world. Just imagine if we had billions of years. Yeah, just imagine. This is insane. And you want to force that on all the kids. No wonder they think there's 57 genders. It's what you're teaching is dumb. If you think there's more than 2 genders, you and Bernie, I'll pay you $20 to come milk our bull. I want to video you flying over the fence. Okay?
Okay, so then how does bacterial resistance evolve if no new information is created? Explain the mechanism to me how bacteria evolve resistance. If they can just evolve kind into kind or whatever. Again, that's not a biological term. Again, it's another pseudoscience Christian apologetics nonsense that you're conspiracy pushing. Again, but let's just I'm in your wheelhouse, man. I am this is Sunday school, and I'm asking you, Kent, how does microbial evolution work? How does bacterial resistance work? How does that new information, which is the resistance to bacteria, to a molecule, evolve within the bacteria? Explain that to me.
If you would like to if you really want an answer, I know you do not want an answer, but if you really did, no, you don't. Institute for Creation Research, put my slides up, Joseph. Institute for Creation Research in Dallas, Texas, ICR.org, has many articles on this very topic. Antibiotic resistance in bacteria shows adaptive design. They already had the information in there. They're able to produce a variety. The DNA code contained information that allowed them to become resistant to these things. It wasn't a gain of information. There's all kinds of articles about this. Antibiotics are tiny chemicals that kill bacteria. There's all kinds of stuff on, let's see, John Morris did one back 26 years ago, articles. Dallas Hospital thwarts evolving bacteria. There's lots of articles, if you care to read them, about the fact that all we've seen with bacteria becoming resistant to certain drugs or something, bacterial resistance, is a loss of information. Did you know if you cut everybody's arms off, you couldn't handcuff them? Yeah, look at that. We can't handcuff these people. They gained freedom. No, they lost their arms. All bacteria resistance, antibiotic resistance, is a loss of information. They didn't gain anything. But you think that is an example of what it's required to turn a bacteria to a whale. If we had billions of years. Of course, we can't see it, so it's not science, it's not observable, it's imagination. Just think, whoa, these bacteria are resistant to this disease. Wow, this medicine. Okay. Wow, that's proof we're related to a strawberry and we came from a rock. You don't see it. I'm sure you won't see it. Okay, you don't want to see it because this involves admitting that there's a creator. And if there's a creator, there might be some rules. And if you don't like God's rules, build your own planet, do whatever you want. This is his planet. He's going to be the judge. I'm here to help you. I really, Greg, would like to help you. You're going to die one day, so am I. Then all these arguments are not going to matter, except where are you going after that?
Okay. So
I'm sure you think you're going back to Stardust. Now we're on a new topic. I'm sorry.
No, we're staying on it, dude. We're staying on bacterial resistance. Yeah. Okay. So you sequence a bacteria. Okay. And then this microevolution happens that now they're resistant to this antibiotic, and we sequence it again. So we sequence it before and sequence it after. What is lost?
There is some DNA code that is lost. Check it out. It's always a loss of DNA information that causes this resistance. Show me where did they gain it? Show me where they gained some, and exactly what did they gain? Did they gain new strands of DNA that are able to brand new strands, brand new information? It's like scrambling up words in a book. Could you type Hamlet and misspell a bunch of words and turn it into the Bible? No. All you see is resistance. The resistance is because of a misspelling or a change in the DNA that was negative. In the normal population, it wouldn't survive, but in the presence of this, disease, it works. This is something ICR, Ken Ham, his research crew's done a bunch on that. But I'm the most dangerous one. I'm honored that you think that, okay? But I'm worried that people with your philosophy are going to say, "Wow, we got to shut Hovind up. Let's go shoot him like Charlie Kirk or something." Maybe I don't know. Maybe not you, but might hire it done. So, but do bacteria evolve resistance to antibiotics? John Morris wrote a great article. Yes, they do. But it's because they lost information. They're still a bacteria. Where has a bacteria produced a non-bacteria? Where?
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, so again, what would your hypothesis be for what the DNA loss would be if you had a bacteria and then you go through an antibiotic resistance and you sequence it on both sides? What would your hypothesis be on the piece of DNA that's missing? Why would you be missing DNA? What do you talk? I don't understand. What is your hypothesis here? That we could literally test this. We could test this by sequencing. We could understand. This would be a very easy experiment for us to do. I would even publish this with you in regards to this ICR news blog thing. I guess we could do it. I mean, I'm telling you, I could help you publish this information. So let's work out the experiment. What information is lost?
Okay. Would you in your laboratory get a bacteria, extract some of the DNA, which is incredibly complex, clip half of it off, just clip half of the DNA code off, deoxyribonucleic acid, clip half of it off and throw it away. Would that bacteria survive and reproduce?
No.
No. Why not? It lost information, didn't it?
Yeah.
Could you clip off a little bit? Can a person lose an arm and still live? Yeah. Can they lose their head and still live? No. Can a bacteria lose a little bit of information and still live? Yeah, no problem. Can it lose a bunch? No. All that we've seen is losses of little bits of information that now it's resistant to something, resistant to a certain drug. It's not a gain of information. Show me where it once gained something information.
Well, new protein would be made, so it would be a gain of information inherently.
Okay. Well, we need to have. I didn't know the debate was going to be on this tonight either, but.
Oh my God, we're talking about your evolution. We're talking about evolution. We can't even talk about that. Are you serious? Kent, you are running so afraid right now. You're running scared, bro.
You don't understand.
Have been debating the same thing for 20 years with the same slide deck, and you can't even answer basic questions about your own philosophy.
I have answered it clearly. Bacteria always.
No, you haven't. I'm asking
James,
you what is missing if you sequence it both times?
Okay, we'll give him a chance to respond.
You tell me. You're the one that looks at him swim under the microscope. What
your
was
hypothesis?
Gained? You've looked at it. Where you've looked at it for 14 years, and I helped pay for that involuntarily. What did you see that caused a bacteria to become a non-bacteria? Have all your bacteria always made baby bacteria? All of them? Everyone?
I know you're running from this microevolution thing
running.
because you can't explain it because it doesn't make any sense, because there is a gain of information because it couldn't be an antibiotic resistance before and now it is. So I'm curious what the DNA change is in order for that to happen. You could do this is a very simple sequencing experiment.
As I said, I don't have to tell you what caused it. I can tell you nobody's ever observed it. Science, in case you don't know, is what we can observe, study, test, and demonstrate. Look
You
up at the
said that we've
definition of
seen
science.
microevolution. You said that
You
we've
have
seen it.
You have seen bacteria become resistant to certain drugs. And
Yes,
if you
and I'm
analyze
saying,
their
how does
DNA
that
code,
happen?
if you analyze their code, they lost something for that to happen.
Obviously not
know-
if they're making a new protein.
No, listen, if you cut off your feet, you can't get athlete's foot. I promise you that. That's proof of something to somebody somewhere.
What?
Yeah,
That's
what?
not how
I
it
know.
works. No, that's not how it works. There's tons of different types of like attack vectors that happen within a bacteria cell that there's lots of different modes of where they can be attacked. So it's like, yeah, that's just, it doesn't make any sense. Again, that doesn't make any, you know, maybe if what you're talking about would be like, you know, ampicillin. So ampicillin for example, does basically stops the synthesis of the cell wall of a bacteria. So like maybe if you knocked out somehow like the cell wall, right, you wouldn't be able to you know, be somehow observant or resistant or not susceptible to ampicillin, but you would be such a bad cell that they would die. So it doesn't make any sense, dude.
I know it doesn't make any sense to you, okay? But listen,
I'm a scientist.
bacteria are really complex. They have a cell wall. They have all kinds of stuff swimming around in the fluid inside, all kinds of necessary things. They have a little hair. Some of the bacteria have a hair that is attached to a little motor that turns 100,000 RPM. 100,000 RPM to that little hair to swim through a fluid. That's the same thing as a human swimming through peanut butter at 60 miles an hour. That's a pretty powerful motor. You think that little motor evolved by chance, and it's incredibly complex. We can talk about the bacteria flagellum if you'd like, but see, you never observe any bacteria produce other than a bacteria. But your chart that you think should be mandatory teaching, and it is in North Korea, by the way, that bacteria can somehow, over billions of years and trillions of generations and mistakes, turn into a whale. Do you believe a bacteria turned into a whale over billions of generations? Do you believe that?
Again, you keep retreating to your same slides
I'm
that you've
asking you
done
a
for
yes
the
or
last
no
25
question.
years, and you can't
You're a
answer
scientist, come on.
you can't
Gotta
answer
give 'em-
basic questions in regards to how your own philosophy works. How does bacterial resistance actually happen? It's very simple. It's very simple. This is like a very simple,
Okay.
you know, like explanation.
Okay, how many of you can see that he's the one who's running? Can you see that?
I
Okay,
can
one more
explain
time.
it to you.
One more
Do you,
time.
do you want me to explain it to
Oh,
you
yeah.
to understand, like better understand? I can help
Sure.
you, Kent.
Bacteria only produce bacteria.
Okay,
There
let's
are
talk about it.
variations. There are variations in the baby's bacteria. Most of
Okay.
them are deleterious. None
No.
of them gain information. But
No.
somehow you believe a bacteria could turn to a whale. Whales have things bacteria don't have, you know, like flippers and nostrils and eyes, and they got a whole bunch of stuff, bones. How did the bacteria turn to the whale? Why should we teach this to the kids if all the changes you observe in these bacteria are what everybody calls microevolution? It's still a
No,
bacteria.
nobody does except for Christian apologetics. And again, we're not talking about that right now, Kent. We were talking about the theory that you're proposing, microevolution, that doesn't actually exist. And you don't even understand the basic mechanics of how something as simple as antibiotic resistance would actually evolve inside a bacteria. You can't even explain your own theory. We're not talking about the you know, the billions of years of evolution from prokaryotes to mammals. You know, we're not even talking about that right now. We're talking about what you're talking about. And for the last 20 minutes, you were begging for me to talk about one thing, and I am in your wheelhouse. I am in your philosophy, and you can't even explain basic mechanics of how evolution works.
I most certainly can.
You literally haven't. You literally have not. And
I will when you shut up. When you shut up, I will explain it to you. Okay?
You're looping.
Shut him
Sorry,
up.
we're just sorry. I'm going to jump in really quick.
I love this. Okay, go ahead, James.
We'll
Bacteria are incredibly complex. If we introduce an antibiotic that kills bacteria, which is what antibiotics do, and it has to somehow kill that bacteria by attacking some part of the living, keeps it alive. Let's say that antibiotic we put in kills a certain thing in a bacteria, and some of the trillions of bacteria have a mutation where they lost information, where now this antibiotic can't kill them. It's always a loss of information. Those with the lost information are the ones that survive to produce the next generation of baby bacteria. And eventually, over time, you can get a whole colony of bacteria that are all resistant to this antibiotic. I agree, that's how it works. But it's always a loss of information, and it's still a bacteria. And I'm loving this. I'm not running from you at all, okay? Go ahead, your turn.
Greg?
Again, that's like you're not understanding. No. So basically, no. The defense mechanism that can happen with, I'll explain it to you. I'm a microbiology PhD, so I can. This is my wheelhouse. I'm happy to explain it to you. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to pray to me like you're God, but I mean, I know that you've learned how to do that, so it's okay. So basically, you have mutations that accrue over time within the population, and the nucleotides would change enough in order to change the protein, and the new protein would be able to intercalate with that antibiotic in order to basically bind to it, in order to change it, in order to stop it from doing the metabolic or molecular biology mechanism that would normally kill the bacteria. So it's gaining the ability in order to do it. Like if you have a string of A's, C, that is going to be more information than A. So inherently, a single mutation that changes a new amino acid is going to be the production of new information and a new protein that didn't exist before.
Okay, so you said, if I recall, I have to play this back slow, the mutations gradually build up in this bacteria. We'll call it a colony or population of bacteria. Mutations accrue, they build up. I can agree. Those changes are all a loss of information. But you said just now, I don't think you realize what you said. They gained the ability to resist this antibiotic or something. Mm-hmm. So that's not gaining new information in the DNA code. That's like saying if we went to handcuff everybody and haul them off to prison, and some of the people didn't have arms. Oh, we can't handcuff them. And they produce babies, the next generation that don't have arms. Can't handcuff them either. Eventually, we get a whole generation of people that don't have arms. We can't handcuff them. They've gained the ability to resist handcuffs. That's your logic. Where is the information of a bacteria producing a non-bacteria? Where? Has anybody seen this?
We're just talking about your so-called microevolution right now.
You don't understand it.
You don't understand it at all. You don't understand how it works. No, I had to explain to you a basic understanding of how nucleotides and amino acid changes actually accrue new information within the cell. You were able to actually demonstrate that.
No, wait.
You literally weren't, and I had to explain it to you. I mean, that's fine. I understand. You want to learn, I guess. Maybe that's cool.
Yeah, I do.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Listen,
yeah, you don't have to bow to me. It's okay.
So the new information that they gained in the cell was the ability to resist being arrested and had handcuffed because they don't have handcuff arms anymore. They lost information, so they gained the ability to resist. That in your mind is new information, isn't it?
We can talk about things that we've seen, like citrate metabolism that happened in the long-term E. coli evolution experiment. The ability to break down citrate that never existed before. That's a new metabolic pathway that was brand new and that evolved completely through mutations tracked through sequencing over time. I mean, you think that DNA is the basis of heredity, right?
I agree. I believe it.
Okay, that's good. I mean, that's good. That's okay.
I get an A for that one, at least maybe A minus for that one bit.
I guess so. That's a low bar.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you.
Okay. If you sequenced, okay. So let's think about. I mean, you agree that DNA creates proteins eventually, DNA to RNA to protein, right?
Yeah, I agree. But do you agree that one DNA strand is more complex than the internet system of the world?
No,
I'll make that statement.
Of course not.
You don't think so? Okay.
No.
It's a 4-digit code. All our stuff's all binary, zeros and ones. DNA is, CATG, 4-bit code, which is many times more complicated. And there's a whole string of them. One cell in your body, if you tied the DNA to strands together and stretched it out, it'd be 6 feet long. If you put all the cells in your body, the DNA, and stretched it out, it'll go across the solar system twice. That's a pretty complicated code to make a human.
It's a lot.
And
It's a lot of
people can
cells.
pass that on to the next generation in a very fun way.
I
So,
know.
okay.
Okay. And
So where's the information gained? Show me a bacteria that gained information besides losing something so they can't be handcuffed.
okay, so let's say so you can basically do DNA sequencing, you can do RNA sequencing, and then we can also look at proteomics. So proteomics is the way that we can actually see through basically liquid chromatography and mass spectrometry. We can actually see if there's actually new proteins that are actually inside the cell. So if there was a cell, okay, that we had, and we did this analysis, and we looked at all the different proteins that existed inside of this cell, and we did a directed evolution experiment where we changed the DNA, and now it's become resistant to this antibiotic, and then now we do the proteomics at the end, so before and after, and there is a new protein that's present. Do you think that is new information that cell has?
You're saying there's a new protein that is present in the DNA. There's a protein in the DNA in the cell. So there's a new protein in the cell that is present, and you're claiming this is because of the mutations that accumulated, the changes in the DNA code. The changes in the DNA code created a new protein, or they allowed the new protein to come in, or they created a new protein.
Within the DNA changes itself, yes. Would you say that is a new amount of information that is created within that evolution experiment?
I'd like to see the scientific proof that is the case, and even then, I'd like to examine it further. Is there something else? I'm getting cramps. I drove to Indiana and back twice, and I'm tired. And I got to get some more magnesium. Is it okay if I take a vitamin instead of get a vaccine for my muscle cramps? Would that be okay?
Again, if you can run, are you trying to change the subject because you're scared, or
no? I'm just pointing out
okay.
I'm slightly distracted.
You can, you're
distracted.
It's
the biceps femoris is cramping, and it's probably a magnesium or potassium deficiency. But I think we should start giving everybody vaccines against muscle cramps. Let's everybody line up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just against communicable diseases and to keep everyone safe. Just like how we were safe because of the polio vaccine when you were a kid, and you got the polio vaccine, and now you're denying that same ability for other kids in order to try to spread disease and harm to other people.
We'll get James's channel shut down.
You're so mad. You're so mad, dude. You're just crashing out. It's crazy.
I'm having really a lot of fun. Okay.
No, you're not.
I'm not. So you know what I think. You know what I know.
Left.
You know. Huh?
I hate to jump in, but we have a little time left before we go to the Q&A. If you guys want a chance to draw together some of the threads from this debate, I can give you that maybe in like a 2-minute closing. Would that work well?
Yeah, I'd love your closing statement for how proteomics, how what you're talking about. Like we're talking about the same thing for the last 30 minutes, trying to understand your ability to understand microevolution, which is the only thing that exists. But I'm trying to ask you questions specifically about microevolution, and you are not understanding it, and you can't even like engage with the idea that a new protein can be made within a cell based off of DNA mutations within that DNA of that microbe.
You're claiming that this happened. I said I'd like to see that. I'd like to analyze that.
All right. So when I was saying like 2-minute closings, I was meaning like at that point when I said it. Was that your closing, Craig, or was that your just a last mark before going to the closings? You don't know. Okay.
Whatever he needs. If he wants to take my 2 minutes to basically understand and say what proteomics is and understand like what a protein is and where it's coming from and how it's actually created. I mean, he's denying now that DNA can't make a protein, or he's skeptical that exists?
For the love. Okay, so was that your closing? Let me put it more clearly. We're going to go into closing statements. So if you talk, I'm assuming it's your closing statement.
That was my closing statement. Go ahead, Kent. Please tell us.
I will stand my ground. The Bible clearly says all living things, plants, animals, everything, will reproduce after their kind. Bacteria always have baby bacteria. No exceptions. Shut him off. It's my turn to close. James, shut his mic off. He doesn't learn. Okay. I've had students I had to send out in the hallway or send to the principal, just like him. Can't shut up. No, it's my turn to talk. Okay. All we've ever seen in the history of the world before we had microscopes, it was animals or plants. They always produce the same kind. Varieties happen. I think there's over 1,000 varieties of apples people have selectively bred. They're still apples. We've never seen it go outside of apple to anything else. We've never seen bacteria go outside of bacteria to anything else. A bacteria having a new protein in its cell. First of all, he didn't show me one. I said I'd like to see it. I didn't say I didn't believe it. I said I'd like to see it. I'd like to analyze it before I talk about it. But if it happened, it's still a bacteria. It's not a new kind of creature. It's still a bacteria. Why should we use that to force all the kids to learn bacteria can turn to whales if you give them a long time? Why should that be mandatory? Anyway, so no, I stand my ground. The Bible is scientifically accurate. Animals and plants and bacteria always produce after their kind. Always. Nobody's ever seen an exception to that. The DNA code, put my slide back up, Joseph. The DNA code is complex beyond ability to understand. The way it winds and unwinds and copies itself and has to reverse transcribe, it's amazing. I can glorify God for the amazing design in the DNA code. You can glorify Charlie Darwin for discovering that 14 kinds of birds came from a bird. Oh, okay. Evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the world. Never been a dumber idea. It's your philosophy that's dangerous. That started World War II with Adolf Hitler, thinking we should kill everybody who wasn't blonde-haired, blue-eyed. Okay, let's get these questions, James.
We'll jump into the question and answer right now. So thanks. We're going to
Please.
move fast as we're already about an hour and 20 minutes into it. Helix says, "Hey, Dr. Hovind, I just wanted to say you're a huge inspiration to me, and I hope to follow in your footsteps one day, become a great." All right, let's see. We're looking for questions that are more on the topic. Austin Sims says, "Kent, you claim you taught algebra for 15 years. Can you answer this basic algebra question?" Okay, we're looking for creation, evolution questions. Marilyn says, "Creation, evolution, or psyops?" All right, here we go. This one from
It's your guys.
Austin
It's your question.
Austin Sim says, let's see. More insults. And this one from Richie Torres says, "Greg connected evolution with the economy. LOL, evolution is true, therefore check your 401k. I don't know what that means." This one from Earthly Skeptic says, "Kent, if humans came from Noah's family in 4,000 years, how are there 10,000 alleles of HLA-B gene? What mutation rates support this rate of evolution?"
Well, I don't know the answer to that one quickly. I could do some research on it, but I think we could all agree that all the humans in the world had a common ancestor that was a human, not a bacteria.
We literally came from Denisovan and Neanderthal DNA, dude. We have it in our. Someone won a Nobel Prize on that, so it's like you're just completely wrong.
This one from, do appreciate it, Austin Sim says, "Kent, Aquinas, Augustine, Clemens, Didymus, Irenaeus, Justin Martyr, Philo, Origen say Bible allows ancient Earth and evolution. Why is your opinion better than theirs?"
I'm much smarter than all of them put together. I believe the Bible is true. God created everything in 6 days, and he wrote a book and preserved the book. And all we've ever seen, if you want to talk about the age of the earth, we can have a debate on that. There's no way to prove it's billions of years old. You can believe that. But just because some people believe something doesn't make it true. And I'm not requiring mine to be taught in the school system like they are requiring theirs to be taught at taxpayer expense. Mandatory. You've got to learn you came from a rock, boys and girls, or you don't pass.
It's not evolution.
Yeah, it is.
Austin Sims. I'll give you a chance if you want to respond, Greg. I know that you haven't gotten, I don't think you've gotten any questions yet. So if you want to respond, you can. We'll give Kent the last word.
Was that the end of the questions?
No, there's more, but I know that you've been, I don't think you've gotten a question yourself yet. So if you want to do a quick rebuttal.
No, it's okay. It's all good.
This Austin Sims says, "This matter isn't settled by YouTube debate. It's settled by hundreds, if not thousands of hours of lab and field work. How much lab and field work have you done?" I guess that's for both.
Me or him? James?
I guess both.
I've done like lab work for 17 years. I have 9 publications. I've worked for some of the biggest companies in the world in the biotechnology, research and development space. And I'm a molecular biologist, so I actually work with DNA. My whole job is to literally change the DNA of organisms in order to do like specifically new and unique things that they couldn't do before. So it's not, DNA isn't this mythical thing that we don't understand how to work with. It's actually very simple, and we work with it. I work with it every day, and I make new organisms that never existed before. So it's we understand it very well, and hey, I like that Kent has some reverence for the ability and what's happening within DNA, because it is pretty awesome what's happening with it, and that's why molecular biology is such a cool field, and that's why it's so amazing to be able to make new technologies and new gene therapy technologies that are going through and being able to like change and edit out disease from people. We're editing out cancer from people. We're editing out heredity disease that before they were born. We're creating new tools with CRISPR-Cas9 that can go and help people with type 1 diabetics. So it's like we're creating brand new technologies and curing diseases and curing cancers from this stuff. So it is really cool. But Kent has peddling conspiracies that do nothing but harm people, and the science disinformation that is rampant in the United States right now is exactly what Kent has been preaching for 30 years now, and it's been nothing but a road of despair and death that's on the other side of it.
I'll give you a chance, Kent, to respond since the original question is for you. Then we go to the next one.
Oh, wait. What was the original question? He got way off track there. What was the original question? What experience?
How many lab hours you have?
I don't think lab's the only way to learn. When I was about 10 years old, my mom and dad set me up my own business. I raised hamsters to sell to pet stores. I personally raised hundreds of hamsters, and they always made baby hamsters. Always. Never an exception. I got brown hamsters and white hamsters, and that was pretty amazing to watch, and they always were hamsters. So I observed that they bring forth after their kind. Since then, I've studied, I love plants and animals, and we've got our own petting zoo here. We have our emus, they just had 2 babies, and they came out emus. Our sheep had 9 babies in the last 25 days, and they all came out to be sheep. Our sheep are up there in the North 40 mixed with the donkeys and the cows and the zebus, miniature cows, and the coyotes come through there, and we have armadillos and opossums. They always mate with sheep. Our sheep always choose a sheep to be their mate. And keep in mind, the sheep don't even know what they look like, but they know what to look for in a mate, don't they? I've observed for most of my life, I've observed animals always produce the same kind. Every farmer in the world from every country in the world will tell you the same thing.
Austin Sims
sheep produce sheep.
Says,
so I stand my ground. I've observed it from my own eyes. Evolution doesn't happen.
Says Kent, ICR, CMI, and Answers in Genesis have quote-unquote statements of faith that say point blank they will discount any evidence that contradicts their beliefs. Why trust them?
Evolutionists have a statement of faith. We have to believe the earth is billions of years old. We have to believe animals can change to something else that was never observed. If somebody published an article in a major journal that went against evolution theory, they wouldn't publish it. You can't do that. It won't happen. So, for instance, here we go. Answers, story maps. All of these people are saying we came from a rock. Earth started off as a hot ball of rock, a hot ball of rock, a hot ball of rock. But yet James says, Greg says he doesn't believe it came from a rock. Well, then call these people and tell them to tear that page out.
This one from, do appreciate your question. Breathe Cyanide says, Kent Health Science has published work on processed food, parentheses, yes, bread. Why are you unaware that this is going on?
Is that for Greg?
No, for you. They say, Health Science has published work on processed food, parentheses, yes, bread. Why are you unaware that this is going on?
Oh, there's probably several things in the world I'm unaware of. I mean, I probably. So I'm not aware of what the weather is in China right now. Nor do I care. So I don't know who this organization is. They publish something. So you're saying they publish something on processed food, and I'm supposed to be aware of it. I don't see how that ties in. James, give me the tie in here. Are they saying? Are they claiming they prove processed foods do not take out vitamins? Is that what they're claiming, or they do not harm people?
Greg, if you want to take a stab, what are they talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, there's genetically modified, food that we've created that has enhanced vitamin techniques. That the golden rice is a good example. It has increased vitamin A that helps with eye retinal advancement and development in kids, so that they're less blind. Developmentally. So and that's through molecular biology. That's through my field. That's like what we do. So we basically take a gene and put it into a plant that doesn't normally have that gene, doesn't have that protein, and it didn't have that protein, and then now it does. So it is literally the increase or the creation of new proteins and new abilities inside that plant for the first time. So it's evolution. We do evolution in the lab. That's what we do.
Okay, so you put
ahead.
vitamin A. You put vitamin A into a plant because it helps kids' eyes. What if we put vitamin A into a capsule they could swallow and help their eyes? Would that? That's easier than putting it into a plant. I mean, that's interesting work on the plant, but why not just put it in a capsule and swallow it?
Because then it has to be like, you have to store that capsule. You have to store that vitamin, and it's easier just to have the vitamin A produced inside that plant, and then people are already eating that rice, and now it has more nutrition inside of it.
Good. Keep doing it. Next question.
Thank you.
This one from Earthly Skeptic says, Kent, Matt Powell says diamonds are subatomic. Why?
I didn't hear him say that. Matt, diamonds are subatomic. I don't know what that means.
The Curtis
Obviously, they're
Hatchell
not.
Curtis Hatchell Project says human and animal footprints in the sedimentary stone are proof the story of Noah is an error in the Bible.
Well, we're on a whole new topic again, but I think hundreds of examples of thousands of dinosaur footprints have been found. There's dinosaur trackways all over the world, and many times human footprints have been found with them, but we don't need to find that. I cover my video number 3. Dinosaurs always lived with man. We're on to a whole new topic now. But yeah, I take the position the Bible's true. God made everything in 6 days. Dinosaurs lived with man. They called them other names besides dinosaur. Man killed most of them, or they died from climate change, whatever, after the flood, and some might still be alive. 11,000 people claim they've seen the Loch Ness Monster. I've not seen it, but 11,000 people claim they have. Are they all liars? We have to call them all liars because we have to protect your religion of evolution, which says you've already decided they lived millions of years ago. If they caught a dinosaur in the Congo swamp, for instance, where a lot of people claim they're in the Congo swamp, Roy Mackal, University of Chicago, went over there twice to the swamp. He's an evolutionist. He wrote a book right here in my hand, A Living Dinosaur, Mokele Mbembe. He said, folks, I believe there are some small 15, 18-foot dinosaurs still alive in the Congo swamp. Okay, if they caught one and brought it back and put it in the Brooklyn Zoo, Greg would say, we got to put a sign over the top that said, it's amazing one survived for 70 million years, because he's committed to his religion. He's a great religious zealot for the evolution religion. Congratulations.
Birds are dinosaurs.
Yerba Mate Talk says, after show on Yerba Mate Talks, open panel, let's discuss the debate. Mr. Hanky, YouTube says, Kent, if you subtract information that would just result in evaporation of that life form over time, that logic doesn't work.
I'm saying that's what happens with bacteria. You subtract information, and now it becomes antibiotic resistant. There's never an example of it gaining new information. It's a loss of some part of the DNA code. Study it out. That's all we say. Yes, I'm saying if you take enough out, it'll lose the organism can't live. That's what I've said all along. I'm saying there are no examples where a bacteria has ever produced something that's not a bacteria.
Okay. Do you think that the golden rice example is the gain of information?
No, you stuck it in there.
Yes. Okay. So what if I did the same with a bacteria? What if I stuck DNA in there?
I do it. Stick some DNA in a bacteria and make it grow legs or fins. Make it turn into a whale.
No, we're talking about microevolution again.
Bacteria turn to a whale.
No, we're talking about microevolution. To stop going back to your looping again. If we put the ability for the bacteria to go in, make the insulin. Let's say insulin, for example. The ability for bacteria to make insulin is a gene that's inserted into its genome, right?
So you insert a gene. This was done in a laboratory. They inserted something in, right? Did it happen naturally or artificially?
Artificially.
Okay. And that's proof of what?
Did you agree that that is the gain of information?
I think I could probably put a V8 engine in my Toyota and make it really go fast, but that'd take a lot of modification, and I wouldn't get near the gas mileage I get. So, and again, this is intelligent design doing it. If scientists can add information to a bacteria, that's not proof it happened in nature on its own. That's what you want taught. This is proof that you believe in creation.
Okay,
You believe intelligent scientists. Yeah.
You do realize that bacteria, some of them, it's called natural transformations. They literally can take up new DNA from the environment and put those into its genome. So literally, bacteria have a mechanism to take up environmental DNA and to run new antibiotic resistances for the first time. So just in the exact same mechanism, it's called a transformation. The exact same mechanism that we do in the lab, bacteria can do that. And I mean, would you agree that that could happen and that would be a gain of information?
If they're gaining information, you put something into their environment so they could suck it in. That's not them creating it from their own. That's, again, absorbing something that you put into their environment so they would suck it in to become part of their DNA. That's interesting. Again, that's a proof of intelligent manipulation of the DNA code. It's still a bacteria.
No, DNA is everywhere. Environmental DNA is everywhere.
Is it still a bacteria? Okay, so it's everywhere. They sucked it in from everywhere. Okay, it's still a bacteria, isn't it?
Okay, but you said that this doesn't exist before, and you said that it's only a loss of DNA that can happen, and you just agreed that it can happen through environmental DNA.
I said
that's an increase of DNA. So that you just contradicted yourself.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
If it can suck it in from the environment, that's not the bacteria creating it. The bacteria absorbed it from someplace else. That's not the bacteria creating it.
But it can.
Do you know? Have you ever seen a bacteria produce a non-bacteria? You avoided my question now for an hour and a half, and my cramp is hurting, and I don't want to get a vaccine for muscle cramps. So I'm ready to go take some magnesium and go to bed. But go ahead.
The ability to naturally transform in and of itself is something that it evolves. So it can evolve the ability to take up environmental DNA for the first time. Yeah.
I ate lunch today. I absorbed something from my environment. Wow.
I hate to do this just because we have limited time. I just want to squeeze through this one from Austin Sims says, is God irreducibly complex? Kent.
I believe God is outside of our time, space, matter, and is worthy of worship. He created everything, the bacteria, from the bacteria to the whales to the whole planet. I love him. I worship him. I'm going to stand before him one day and be judged. And so is Greg, even though he doesn't believe that. He's going to be judged. And his teaching has probably turned many children away from believing in God, either through their parents learning it from him. So Jesus said, if you offend these little ones that believe in me, you'd be better off with a millstone hanged about your neck. I'm worried for Greg Judgment Day. Meanwhile, I'm having a blast debating
I sleep easy, dude, because I'm a good person and I do good things just because I want to do good things, as opposed to you who are only afraid of going to hell. So that's the only reason.
I'm not afraid of going to hell. I'm not going, man. I'm forgiven.
You're very afraid. You're very afraid. Just like you're afraid in this debate.
Uncle Tiger sneezes, says, Greg, since neither worldview can scientifically demonstrate how the universe came to be, then wouldn't that make both worldviews equally valid?
No, because there's a natural process that can explain, like the Big Bang and evolution. So I only believe in like natural processes, basically.
This one from Mother Holda says, Greg, what ethics do you support for CRISPR and other gene editing methods? What are your thoughts on Colossal Biosciences work?
Oh, that's a great question. But Colossal Bioscience is the idea that you can actually like bring back extinct species. The big problem there is that in order to have healthy populations, you basically need a lot of them because you need genetically diverse populations. Otherwise, you go through it's called a genetic bottleneck event where you have such a small breeding population that they can go extinct really easily. The medical ethics of CRISPR is an important one. It's talked about a lot. Basically, we are using a really specifically evolved CRISPR that is being double checked in every time that it's used. And David R. Liu is really the the lead person of this. If you don't know about David R. Liu out of Harvard, incredible work. He was doing what I was talking about before. She actually cured childhood leukemia from someone. He's curing genetic diseases with evolved CRISPRs. So it's not the native one that we first discovered in 2008. It's specifically used for human editing. So it's basically changing A, C, T's, and G's, like an A to a C. It's not making the double-stranded break cuts that make it more prone to basically errors in the genome. So it's awesome, and it's happening right now. It's really important for people to understand that there are dozens of human gene editing human trials that are going on right now. And like within our lifetimes, there's a good chance that if you were born with a genetic disease or something, that there's a good chance that you get your genome sequenced, and you just go to the physician and they give you a single administration of a single shot, and it actually removes those errors in your genome. So it's really cool.
This one from OJ says, did I read this? Kent, what happened to the dinosaurs that were not on Noah's boat, or did they evolve?
I think everything that was not on Noah's boat drowned, except the fish. Of course, they were having a blast. It's not just the dinosaurs. Noah probably took 2 babies of everything. It'd be smart to take baby elephants. They eat less, they poop less, they sleep more. And so I think I covered that on my video number 3. Tell you what, tell him to call our office or come visit. We'll give him a free copy of video number 3, Dinosaurs in the Bible. We give them out for free all over the world. And we want people to learn that God made the dinosaurs. He ought to get the glory for them. They're amazing creatures.
Tactical Theology says, Greg, why don't we have interspecies fossils?
Everything is a transitionary fossil. Everything is a transition. So there's more viruses in the world than there are stars in the universe, Ken. So please explain to me how all of those organisms on Noah's Ark were infested with all of the viral particles that exist in the world.
I think your question has a built-in assumption. You should know that. You're a scientist.
That viruses exist?
No, that they had to all the viruses we have today had to be in the animals on the ark. Can anything survive? Can viruses survive on floating log mats?
No.
Dead creatures? They can't.
No.
No viruses come from dead. They would walk out in the swamp and see what kind of things, what kind of diseases you get.
So that's not how it works. You need a host. You need a host you need a host for a virus. So it'd have to be like living inside. Well, the viruses aren't living, but they're actually replicating inside that host.
Yeah, interesting question. Let's do that debate another time on that. You
You're
mentioned something about
you got answers in Genesis. That one you don't even know.
No. He's on 20 different topics again. You mentioned that.
We're talking about one. Stop running to that. Gosh,
with the research, you shut off his mic, please.
So mad, dude.
Shut off his mic. Okay. Shut off mine when it's his turn. Okay. I won't interrupt him. He said something a while ago. I don't want to let it slip by. With this research they're doing, they have to have a population of these or it won't survive. I suspect that first bacteria that started slowly getting a 0.0001% flipper to turn to a whale, it had to find another bacteria that had 0.001% flipper, or else that new improved modification of slowly getting a flipper was lost because there wasn't 2 of them. Or maybe they evolved, 2 of them evolved, but they were 500 miles apart and they couldn't find each other. Oh, what a shame. Or maybe they evolved 20 years apart and they couldn't find each other. All you have is a religious belief. And you're welcome to it, but quit calling it science. Nobody has seen a bacteria produce a non-bacteria. That's your specialty. Show me where it happened, and anybody would say, that's no longer a bacteria. It's becoming something else.
Again, so even in Kent's own thing, like all these viruses had to evolve after the Noah's Ark, even according to his own belief. So therefore, evolution does exist because there's lots of different types of kinds of viruses. And you yourself just admitted that they had to evolve after Noah's Ark. So you just admitted that viral evolution is real.
I did not say that.
You did.
James, let's go to another question and let's quit. Okay, the Bible says, go from the presence of a foolish man when you don't find in him any knowledge. So.
This one from SK Iceman says, Greg, genetic mutations are significantly more likely to be deleterious than beneficial. In simple terms, how do you see speciation unfold?
I mean, basically, they're pruned from the population over time if they're not given a fitness advantage. So this is a really important thing that happens. This is the codon usage bias or the wobble theory on how genetic diversity basically accrues within a population, and you also see like genome size replicating within organisms that need to survive in different environments. Like maybe it's like a lot of variation in environment or something like that. So there you see this a lot in flies. Basically, sometimes the flies will have radically different types of genome size because of that. So, basically the ability to evolve, to live within these, harsher environments in and of itself is something that it is evolved with, and the molecular biology has created through evolution the ability to deal with these types of problems.
So from do appreciate it. Tina Truly says, is artificially changing genes proof of evolution?
Is that for me?
Yes.
Okay. Artificially changing tampering with the genetic code of anything is evidence that it takes intelligence to do this. Not that it can happen on its own.
Thank you.
Like I said, you could do a lot of work and remodel the frame and everything and put a V8 engine in a Toyota. That's not proof that Toyota can absorb the engine by itself. It can be done. Okay. So all we've seen examples where somebody manipulates the genetic code to make it change, or it gives it something to absorb into its own DNA code, for instance. Again, it's man manipulating it. It's like if scientists create life in the laboratory, I would say they just proved it takes intelligence to make life. They proved creation.
This one from Uncle Tiger Sneezes 760 says, Greg, you mean, quote, natural processes that can't be scientifically demonstrated? I respect your level of faith. God bless.
Amen.
Okay. Give you a chance to respond, Greg.
Okay. I mean, it's like willful ignorance at this point. I mean, it's okay. I mean, the problem is that people like Kent and this science misinformation that we are in right now. This era that we are in is creating people not trusting the scientific process. So it's not just like, oh, back in the day, 20 years ago, when I first started, watching Kent's videos, we were talking about, I was used to watch him and Kirk Cameron videos and Christian apologetics and stuff like that. It's this cute, like, oh, theology is so interesting, and let's see how he, deals with these questions and stuff like that. But like this science denialism is actually harming people now, and you should really think about like what you're pushing and what kind of world that you're creating. And that's why, as obviously, like Kent was talking about, he's rife with conspiracies. It's not just this young earth creationism that he's pushing. It's not just this 900-year-old man stuff. It's a ton of other conspiracies when he was rambling that he also believes in. And that makes sense too, right? Because it's like, if you believe in one conspiracy, you're going to believe in a lot of other conspiracies. And it makes sense that people, that accept the whole gamut. And where is the line? That's the question. It's like, where is the line? And with Kent, if he's under the knife for brain surgery or something like that, he's probably going to accept medical science because he actually wants to live. At that point, he's not going to say, oh, humans used to live 900 years old, so I don't need any medical procedures. But it's very selfish.
This might actually be it for our questions. Just want to double check really quick. Let me reload the page. Both of our guests are linked in the description box. Folks, do check out their links, as we do appreciate the debaters. The debaters are the lifeblood of the channel. They are what make modern day debate what it is. They are what make it fun. So check out their links. We do appreciate them. This has been a spirited debate. I know that you guys might be up for a second debate, possibly. I don't know. But this was certainly fun. So I want to say thank you, Kent and Greg. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Come visit Dinosaur Adventureland. It's all free.
I would love to.
You're welcome.
I would love to. Genuinely, I would love to.
Come on down. I'll give you the tour myself.
Where is it? Where is it, by the way?
Lennox, Alabama, straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles. Town about that big, 30 people.
All right.
We're building a Noah's Ark, a replica.
Yeah. I'll bring some dino DNA.
All right.
Very fun. But yes,
right.
I'll be back in a moment, folks. Stick around.
All right. So, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Amazing. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to load up the old Zoom window so you can see me again, and then I'm going to share about DebateCon 8, Modern Day Debate's flagship conference. This is happening this summer, July 25th and 26th in Dallas, Texas, of all places. Because, hey, oh, pardon me. Let's see here. I got to get rid of my screen share there. It's like a boomer. Don't worry, it's nothing provocative. Let me load this up. But I want to say thank you guys for your support. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. We're going to look at the modern day debate, DebateCon 8 schedule. Because I know you guys maybe are like, hey, tell me about this DebateCon 8 thing that's going on. Well, I got to tell you, we're very excited about this. So, if you look on screen, you can see the schedule. So, for the main event for Saturday, July 25th in Dallas, Andrew Wilson will be taking on Jake Brancatella. And also, earlier that day, Inspiring Philosophy will be clashing with Jake Brancatella, as well as, we're very excited about this, God Logic Apologetics will be colliding with Daniel Hakikachu. So, very excited about that. You don't want to miss it. This conference, which I am putting the link for it in the old live chat, is going to melt faces. I've been saying this over and over because it really will. Want to encourage you. If you have been looking for a conference, you're like, James, I've been looking for a conference that would melt my face. Where have you been? Well, this is it. DebateCon 8. You can see as well on screen, Destiny will be taking place against a special guest, which will be announced in the next 5 days. Very excited about that, as well as Mother Judah, Mother Hulda. I might have missed your question, so I am sorry. If I did miss your question, let me know. Did not mean to do that. But I want to say thank you guys for all your support. We are excited about the future. Why? This conference will be bigger and badder than any other. It is going to be huge. Now, I've got to tell you, we are excited for so many reasons. Let me give you a couple of them. Rachel Wilson will be returning. She'll be taking on Not So Erudite on feminism. It's going to be controversial. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Very excited about that. But not only that, Andrew Wilson will be taking on Loner Box. That will be the final event of the entire conference, as you can see at the bottom there. That's on whether or not Trump is a fascist. So it is going to be controversial. It's going to, frankly, we think this is going to be by far our biggest conference yet. Like, not even kidding. But thank you guys for hanging out. I do want to say hello because we've never given you a name. I've never given, we've never talked about what do we call the modern day debate community? Maybe modern day debaters. What's up, modern day debaters? We might start opening our debates with what's up, modern day debaters? Today we're debating creation versus evolution. We're starting right now. I think we're going to do that. I think that sounds better. Hey, because it sounds better than just, hey, everybody. It's like, but it's more personal if it's what's up, modern day debaters? But thank you, Life in HD. Thank you for your kind words. Appreciate that. Standing for Truth Ministries. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate you being here. Matthew Hakeem, thanks for being a channel member. Marilyn 1313, thanks for being with us. And Mauricio Moko, thank you for coming by. But yes, I got to tell you, Jesus is Lord, 6035. Thanks for coming by. I see you there in the old live chat. Christ really saves. I see you there in the chat. Thanks for coming by. DT Perez 087. Glad to have you here. Valerie Price 1745. Thanks for coming by. Says, get Jim Bob to debate Greg. They already did. It was like 4 months ago. It's on this channel. You can find it if you look on the live stream tab. But yes, Uncle Tiger sneezes. Thanks for coming by. Jesus is Lord. Thanks for coming by. Exotic Spida 2.0. Thank you for coming by. Now, that DebateCon link, check it out. At least put this on your calendar because we don't want people. One big thing we've been trying to I've been going really hard the last week trying to get the word out because we don't want people to book their summer travel plans and then be like, oh, I didn't realize it was, that time. So, yeah, got to tell you, we are excited. We are thankful. These conferences are big. They are worth it though. So there are some major costs that go along with them, which is why we appreciate your guys' support and all the different ways that you do support it. Is they do have some major costs, but they're worth it. They are so fun, and honestly, people just love them. It's a blast. Come out and meet your favorite content creators in person. But yeah, I want to say thank you guys for all your support. And I'm going to let you go. Scientific Origins, happy to have you here. I see you there in the live chat. Native Wildman 9335. What's up? Says, hey, James. Hi, glad to see you here. QKQK954. Thank you for dropping by. And we appreciate you guys. You guys make this fun. This is a good Saturday night. That was a good debate. I got to be honest. We started that debate and there were like 35 viewers, and I was nervous. I was like, wow, creation evolution is maybe just not going to be popular at all anymore. And even with Kent Hovind, I was thinking, I was like, because I booked it thinking like this will be a pretty big debate. And so when I was like 35, 35 viewers, what the? I was like, what's going on? I was like, this topic is so old, apparently. But no, people showed up, and that was an enjoyable debate. People really enjoyed that. So, boy, T fan, thanks for your kind words. Arcade Outpost, good to see you there. And Standing for Truth, my boy, thanks for coming by. Mr. JT Mac 7, thanks for coming by. Now we are starting a new, you guys, if you are like a huge Facebook or if you're a huge Modern Day Debate fan, we do have a new Modern Day Debate page on Facebook. This is not a joke. This is for real. It is our third one, which is a little embarrassing, but that's okay. Third time is a charm, as they say. So I am going to put our Facebook in. And this is, I got to tell you, check out the Modern Day Debate Facebook. It is pinned at the top of the chat. We are going to try. So if you have Facebook, so it's pinned at the top of the chat right now, and I'm going to put it in our uploads. We are trying to grow this thing. We had a Facebook that long ago, long story short, we're starting a brand new one. I know you're like, James, I just followed your last one. We have one follower already. Bless your heart, whoever it was. Thank you so much, whoever followed it. You read my mind. That's what I was going to ask, is if you enjoy Modern Day Debate, check out the new page, because we do want people to check it out, as we're gonna be uploading clips there. Now let me I'm gonna put this in our upload channel defaults. And thanks for coming by, Modern Day Debaters. You guys, I do appreciate your support more than you know. Thank you guys for being here. One new follower, I appreciate that. Mauricio, thank you for following, Mauricio. Bless your heart. I seriously appreciate that more than you know. So basically, the way it works, I'll give you the whole story. I'm just going to give you the truth because it's just easier. Whenever you think about making something up, whenever you think about making up a story that sounds a little bit less embarrassing, just tell the truth for real. Because later on, you might be tempted to try to tell a story that sounds a little bit less embarrassing. You're like, oh, it's just a little white lie. Now, obviously, it's good to just be honest because it's ethical, but it's also very practical. Is that if you tell a story where you're like, oh, it's a little bit less embarrassing, I'll just say this: don't do it, because later on you'll be tempted to do the same, and you will either tell the truth, which will differ from your story that you just told, where you kind of embellish things to make yourself seem like less of an idiot. Or you will try to embellish it again. You'll try to like tell a less embarrassing story, but you probably won't remember the original story, the original white lie. So you'll tell like a slightly different one because you don't even remember what the last one was. So now you got to make up a new one. And someone might notice like that story is different from the last time. So just always tell the truth. It makes your life easier. I'm not perfect at this. Like I confess I still like struggle with not telling a white lie. If someone, how do I look in this? You look great. But uh always tell the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. We had a Modern Day Debate Facebook page. It got pretty big. It got to like 32,000 followers, which is cool. The problem is that they were all of a one demographic that hates modern day debate. We had a ton of followers that, no joke, they were like, they just, they tended to be, whoa. And so a lot of them, we got them because we used to upload our old content from the Matt Dillahunty era. So Matt Dillahunty, famous, I don't know, quasi-famous, atheist, left-leaning political, guy. We used to upload shorts, and they did really well. They got us a ton of followers. But for real, to follow our Facebook page, it's right there right now, please. The link is there in the live chat. I know you can hear me. Did you mute it and you're just talking to yourselves in chat? But long story short, we had most of these people were people we picked up from the Matt Dillahunty era. And some of those shorts or reels, as they're called on Facebook, whatever, they did very well and they got us a lot of new followers. Those were like Matt Dillahunty reels and other atheists. Then we're in this new era where, like, Matt left like 2 years ago. Now the most popular person we host is Andrew Wilson, maybe David Wood. I mean, he's high up there too. But they're Christians. And they're probably politically, like, David doesn't talk much about his politics, but Andrew's obviously conservative. And so, long story short, we started basically when we uploaded that content, it would tank. None of the followers liked it. Then we started a new one, and I was thinking like, it's gonna take forever. And so I went back to the old one, and it just, yeah, for like a month or two, it was just still stank. So then I was like, but at that point I'd already deleted the new one. Very embarrassing. So it has been for months. The Facebook page has always been something like hard for me to figure out. And finally, I think I have an answer. We are starting a new Facebook page, and it's just going to be like more contemporary clips. So yeah, follow it. You won't regret it. Even if you're not going to watch the reels, we do appreciate your following it because it shows Facebook like, hey, we're trying here. But yeah, Shalita609, thank you for coming. I see you there in the old live chat. And yes, standing for truth, he told me, he says, hey, he says, I'm using Facebook and it's doing well. I say, Big Don, how do I do this? And I realized, Big Don, like I said, so the way that Facebook works is like YouTube. You upload a piece of content, and Facebook and YouTube will take that content and show it to a small sample of your own subscribers or followers. If they don't like it, they're not showing it to anybody else. Because think about it this way, they think, hey, if even this guy's own followers didn't like it, boy, then certainly people who are not his followers are not going to like it. So they don't push it out any further. It has to do well with your initial audience sample, in which case, if it does, they'll push it out to more people. If it doesn't, well, then they're not pushing it out at all. It's just dead in the water. So I would upload these, Andrew Wilson clips, and it was Matt Dillahunty's followers from the Matt Dillahunty era that basically they're like, they didn't care at all. They're like, this is like, I'm not even clicking on it. And that is why it was like, hey, we're just going to start fresh. We're going to clean it out. It's going to be a brand new thing. And, but yeah. uh, I love now, on Twitter, someone, oh man. Um, I guess they call it shit posting. I like to shit post my friends. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that word. It's not that bad of a word. I'm not saying in anger, right? Bobcat Wolfenstein says, James, I appreciate your patience. Thank you, Bobcat. I appreciate you for saying that. But thank you for all your support, you guys. Wow, the Bearded Doctor. I'm follower number 2. Thank you, Bearded Doctor, for being my friend on Facebook and following Modern Day Debate's new page. Now, hopefully, Facebook, like I said, we're gonna try. We're gonna just try. We gotta wait a little bit, see if they. Where I applied for this. Like, wow, we got maybe even more followers. I applied for this uh, fast track thing, and basically, it's to see if we can get YouTube or Facebook to give us like this push to use old WWE lingo. They want to give us. We were saying we need our push. Give us a push, like push us out to the audience. But yeah, thank you guys for your kind words. Now, yes, I want to say thank you guys though. I think I'm gonna take a walk. I gotta get up. I have been sitting like this for 2 hours straight. Paul Peter 1323, thanks for coming by. I'll see you there in the live chat. And Martissimus, thanks for coming by. I see you there in the live chat. Ada Bon, I see you there in the live chat. Thanks for coming by. B movie was a mistake. 4988. Thanks for coming by. Kevin Bacon 97. Thanks for coming by. See you there. Thank you guys for all your support of Modern Day Debate. Exotic Spida 2.0. Thank you for being a supporter. Thank you guys for all your support of Modern Day Debate. Seriously, I do appreciate it. You guys make this fun. I love this community. Have a great night, Modern Day Debaters. We'll see you at the next debate, which is tomorrow. There's supposed to be one tomorrow night. So that's going to be Nadir and New Gentleman. So thank you guys for your support. Check out DebateCon 8 and keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. Have a great rest of your night. Take care. I love you guys. Amazing.